All right, everybody, welcome back to the Jam on to You. We have a special guest joining us for Jam Session today. It's comedian John Caparulo.
Hey!
Hi. He's in the building. You may know him from his appearances on Chelsea lately. And he's in town to perform at Zanies in Chicagoland all weekend long. Good morning, John. Thanks for being with us, man. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys having me.
So it's timely to have you in here because Chelsea Handler's making news.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't talk to me before she makes these moves. But,
she didn't consult. All right.
Yeah.
Before we get to that move that she made, let's fill you guys in. She announced that her Netflix show, Chelsea, will come to an end after 2 seasons of a run. She took to Instagram saying, quote, "I decided not to return for another season of Chelsea and instead devote as much time as I can to becoming a more knowledgeable and engaged citizen and to focus on projects that have significance to me." So it sounds like the Chelsea that we've known for all these years, you've seen the slow shift to becoming a political activist. She's going all in now.
Yeah.
Are you surprised by this, knowing her as well as you do?
You know, I was surprised years ago when I was just like, why do you still work? You know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're at the point where you own a plane, you're done. Like, you don't need to. I wouldn't show up. I mean, but she still shows up. She still is. You know, I mean, I think she has always tried to. You know, I mean, she's always been very liberal with her spotlight, which I would always be obviously grateful for that. But the fact that she's always sort of just trying to pursue something else that's more gratifying, I think that's great. And I mean, it'd be great to have that opportunity. I'm still just trying to be funny, but I mean, you know, that's awesome. I mean, that's what you do. That's what you do when you get to her point, though. I mean, if you don't do what I do and disappear.
I love that now she's trying to use her platform for the greater good.
Yeah.
We've talked about it on this show. I did not vote for President Trump. And when he won, I said, well, let me try to do what I can just to make my community better. All you can do is what you can do. You can't control what anyone else does, not even the president. So, like, the fact that she is not happy with what she's seeing happening in the world and in our country, she's choosing to use her platform. We need more like her.
I think you're right.
Including myself.
And it's crazy to, like, quit your job to go be an activist, but I sort of get it because when you see what Donald Trump is doing all the time, it's like everything else seems so trivial.
Well,
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting to me because I wonder if this is triggered by her disdain for Donald Trump. I wonder if there is a different president, whether he's conservative or liberal, if he was in the office. I feel like Trump serves as a catalyst for this. Like, I feel like she was like, look, I cannot deal with another 4 years of this, man. I have to act now, because she did mention that the votes coming up in the next year could impact the landscape for a lot of years to come, and that's why she wants to act now. Do you think if this wasn't Trump in office, she'd maybe be rocking with a 3rd season of her Netflix show?
I think Trump being in office, I think the same things are happening regardless. I just think they put Trump in office to just put the face on it. You know what I mean? Like, he's the right guy for the crappy 4 years that we're in for. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, I think what she's doing is maybe she's gearing up to run for office someday. You know what I mean? Like, because the honest truth is, like, what Trump and Reagan,
Chelsea Handler 2020.
Look, I don't want to make an announcement for, because look, we ain't
the headline
tight,
already writes itself here, John.
But
do you think she can seriously do that?
Well, look at it like this. I mean, Trump and Reagan before that, years ago, proved that our president is just basically somebody who needs to read a teleprompter. She can do that. So, I mean, I've seen her do it. So why not? You know, I mean, why couldn't it be?
Do you think she has those aspirations, though, in all honesty?
I don't know, but I think if she has aspirations to better her community and understand the world, why wouldn't she? You know, I mean, she has a leadership quality to her. That's why she got to where she was. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to nominate her because my nomination doesn't mean anything.
Would you vote for her?
I would vote for Chelsea.
There you go. All right. Well, there's one vote, Chelsea. All right. Well, switching gears here and bringing it back to Chicago. A new Chicago-based TV show from Showtime called The Chi. It's premiering in January, but they're making news not in a good way. The Emmy Award-winning Chicagoan producer Lena Waithe is the one kind of catching some heat for this show because, look, it's including a corner store placed in the middle of a food desert in a western neighborhood, and basically on the west side of town, excuse me. And upon the conclusion of taping, they basically took that store and dumped all the food that was in this set fake corner store and threw it away. A dumpster's full of food gone rather than donate it to those in need in that community. I mean, how bad of a look? How can you be this tone deaf is my question.
So I know for restaurants in the city, you know, our nation just throws away a lot of food. We waste a lot of food. But specifically here in the city of Chicago, like, the restaurant cannot take food and just give it to the people. So we can't just go to Lower Wacker and give food. It's not legal. So I don't know if that was any part of it.
They could have taken
no,
this.
but I'm saying it's illegal. You cannot just for like health purposes. So I'm not.
No,
I'm not
donate
sure.
it to a Salvation Army. Like
that's what I'm saying. It's
that's
illegal
to do.
Yeah, you can't take leftover because you can't take the leftover food.
You can't like go on a street.
Because you're held liable if someone was to like eat that food, then you're held liable for like if something happens to them. Let's say they get sick and die.
But I think
so I don't know if this was the
that
case. I don't know if this was the specific case, but maybe.
Then maybe we need to, talking about voting, we need to figure out that law, okay? Because that's ridiculous. Like the fact that you see somebody who's hungry and we're like, hey, I'd feed you, but you might sue. You know, so I can't do it, man.
Well,
My hands are tied.
find something out.
Yeah, seriously, that's
because
ridiculous.
I can't imagine that you couldn't donate the food to a business that's involved in giving food to. Like I could donate canned foods. Like I feel like they could have done the same thing in that regard.
And why? I mean,
or the food depository.
Yeah, non-perishable items.
Right.
But if you have to dump them out, don't dump them out all at once.
It's just
you
a bad
spread
look,
it out
right?
through dumpsters. You know what I mean? Like here, I'll throw a bag of chips here, throw some fruit here. It's like, you know what I mean?
She
like
goes down the street.
as you go down. Exactly. Instead of just being here, look at this big heap of food that you ain't gonna get. You know what I mean?
It sheds light to a bigger problem in our communities for sure. All right. Well, thanks so much for being here, John.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, man.
here.
Really appreciate it. It's too quick of a visit. You got to hang longer next time.
I should.
Yeah,
tell your boss.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, I will.
You can tell him. Look, just right there.
I need to hang longer.